17 minutes later, it's all done. It's to my liking. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. We just showed. The first step is to trim off the stem at the top, and then you're going to cut it about 1/2 centimeter thick. What I did before all of this, in the little bottom stem, you can toss that out. Before we got to here, I rinsed it out really well, and I allowed it to air dry a bit. The more moisture you can get out of it, and that is the key, as I'll show you in a couple minutes, to getting this non-slimy, because that slimy is what everybody tends to hate about okra. And if you wanted to stack them, I've got 5 of them there. If you want to stack it just to make it easier, you can certainly do that. Again, we just trim off the stems with a nice firm grip, fingers away. Sharp knife is the key as well. With everything you do in the kitchen, you really want to make sure you have a sharp knife. And the next step is pretty simple. Get your favorite cookie sheet or roasting pan or whatever it is, something flat, something wide, something big, because we want the okra to be one layer sort of thin. We don't want it piled up too much on each other. Spread it out as best as you can. And let's go outside now. Yeah, we're outside now, and that is the trick, the sort of thing my mom and my mom's mom and for generations we've been doing in the Caribbean. If you're old school Caribbean, you know exactly what I'm doing here. Bring it out into the sun. It's a beautiful spring day. It's probably about 20 degrees Celsius right now. It's gonna warm up, but with the breeze blowing and in the sun, that's gonna dry up, and that's the key to getting this non-slimy. Now, when my mom would do this, she didn't have this fancy roasting tray. What she would do is piece off the galvanized roof specifically for drying stuff. So she would have that, that corrugated sort of metal. She would spread a tea cloth on there, and then she would put that okra to dry there. Now, if you're based in the country, or if it's in the middle of winter and you don't have a lot of sun right now, indoor, do it overnight, let it air dry on your stove, same way on that tray. I may have gone overboard yesterday with it in the sun. I had some construction guys doing some work in my house here, and I totally forgot it was out in the sun for 6 hours. You do not need it out there for 6 hours. About 3 hours would be fine. And this is what we have here. So let me show you guys. Yeah, it'll work. This will work as it is, but I'm just saying 3 hours in the sun and you're good to go. Let's jump into cooking it now. And the sort of elements we want to bring to the game here today, obviously, 1, make the okra that is not slimy. Add a ton of flavor in there. And 3, make it appealing for everyone. And when I say make it appealing for everyone, it just means that at least the person who doesn't like okra, they will give it a try, yeah? We've got 3 tablespoons of olive oil in my seasoned cast iron pan here. Use a non-stick pan because it does take quite a bit of oil. I like using olive oil. And that flavor we're talking about is going to come compliments of salted cod. And this is a case where less is more. Don't add too much. It's been prepared, so most of the salt has been boiled out of it. Most of the and it's become nice and hydrated. And if you're looking for a video on how to prepare the salted cod or any sort of salted fish, I will drop a link down below. You can head over to the Food FAQ channel. This version here is called boned or deboned. All the bones have been removed, but still you want to give it another once over just to make sure that there's no bones in there. In doing this, the reason why I like adding the salted cod here, it will further flavor that olive oil. The olive oil already has a wonderful flavor to it, but to give it that Caribbean je ne sais quoi, add that salted cod in there. Medium heat, 3 tablespoons of oil, as I said, and then we're going to add the onions here. And that's a medium onion, and I have here 4 cloves of garlic that I roughly chopped. And the reason why we like adding, well, not we, but I like adding the garlic and the onion here at this point is because it has a lot of moisture, and I want to cook out that moisture rather than make the okra slimy. And that moisture is the enemy when it comes to having okra. I keep saying okra and okra because in the Caribbean we say okra. So it's okra, I mean. Pally's crying, I don't know what's wrong with him, but that moisture, yo, we're trying to get that moisture out of there. As that joy happens in the pot here, we're gonna go in with some fresh ground black pepper. It's all about building that base of flavor. And I have here 3 bird's eye pepper, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna break them later on. Don't break it if you don't want that raw heat in there. Scotch bonnet, habanero, jalapeno, whatever pepper you like using. And here's the thing about it. If you don't like it spicy, you don't need to add these peppers at all. No, you in control, man. No matter what they say, you in control. Your kitchen should have a lovely aroma of garlic, onion, and that salted cod. Give it one more little turn. Most of that moisture has gone now. We're getting crispy edges on the salted cod, little golden edges on the garlic and the onion. So here's where, boom bam, it is time for the okra to make an appearance in the pot. Yeah? And here's the thing, if you have a lot more, obviously use a wider pan. But the trick is, because we use so much oil in this, it's not as healthy as we would like to think it is. So if you use a non-stick pan, you will, you know, kind of avoid having to use too much oil. Just look how nice that looks already now. Ooh, papa, wee. I'm going to turn my heat down to low and let that cook until, we get the results we desire. Now you'll notice I didn't add any salt. I will not add any salt, simply because the remaining salt in the salted cod will be enough to season this dish for me. That said, there's always an asterisk, which the asterisk is, taste it near the end, and that is when you'll decide if you're going to add some salt or not. But for now, we're just allowing that to go. Do not put a lid on there. Lid means steam, steam means moisture, moisture means sliminess. We are trying to avoid that. I've been stirring it now every, 4 or 5 minutes or so, just to make sure we got even cooking, so everything is touching the bottom, well, the sort of surface of the pan. And if you notice, we've got these lovely golden edges. Man, I'm telling you, the kitchen smelling wicked, sir. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? Yeah, it's been 17 minutes. This is to my liking. As I said, you can taste it now for salt, or you can continue cooking it just a little bit more. It's totally up to you. I love the little charred bits and all that. That's pure sweetness there. If you want it, I mean, I say, not if you want it, but here's where you'll taste it for salt, adjust it to your own liking. And get ready to enjoy slime-free, non-slimy fried okra. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing is sticking together. I'm telling you, boy, give this recipe a try, yeah?